Alright, I'll admit, I was wrong about Winston. You can stop leaving comments now.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Episode 3 of Unicorn Warriors Eternal. There's a lot to speak about. First and foremost, Winston ain't dead.
Hey, that's pretty good.
He's actually just in hospital, recovering from the events of episode 2. He dropped some more corny lines about how he can't leave Emma and all that stuff. He a simp. I think I might be warming up to the two of them, especially knowing that it didn't all end in episode 1, and maybe it'll grow on me more as the series goes on. Emma/Melinda roams around the streets of London, coming to grips with their newfound powers. She meets her parents, who are naturally confused, seeing their daughter in this form, not even sure if this is their daughter anymore.
That is not our daughter.
The episode does a fantastic job of displaying the effects this has had on her, with a scene showing her reflecting on her past, seeing all her memories before, all this happened. In my previous video, I said that when they tried to build up the change with that wedding scene, I thought it dragged on too long, and I still stand by that statement. But I think that this episode did it much better, by using retrospective storytelling and subtle background. I'm a sucker for a good backstory.
Never can I recall an awakening where so much is lost. Yes, even your awakening is shrouded in mystery.
There are some nice little plot points sprinkled here and there as well. Like in the clip I just showed, Edred confirms that this has been the most chaotic resurrection ever, which ties back into episode 2 and its ending. Even they don't truly understand how Copernicus got resurrected, because he was just randomly dug up by robotic grave robbers. Johnny Tuchello said this in his video, but the show has limitless potential. They set up more mystery and questions to be answered, and it's only doing them more good, as I'm getting more and more intrigued to find out the answers to these questions. Who is this random lady who's being set up as the villain? Why is she resurrecting them now? And why has everything for our 4 main characters gone horribly wrong? Well, what if I were to tell you that 2 of these characters weren't even supposed to be here?
My 3rd generation grandfather was chosen long ago.
And I am a direct descendant of Saint Genevieve.
So what you are saying is that the heroes are here, just not awakened in you.
Something clearly has gone wrong.
Talk about a bend in the road. So let's get the facts straight. There are people out there who knew about the resurrections and were prepared for it. The stories of the Unicorn Warriors seems to be a generational one, passed down by the families of the OGs. This means that there are also potentially more characters who knew about this and may have been waiting to be resurrected. This also raises the question of how Copernicus got it wrong. Realistically, this can't be the last we see of these two. They both seemed very upset at the fact that the resurrections went wrong, and are obviously going to want to be involved in what they were rightfully meant to be a part of. Really hope we see them later on in the show. Going back to our version of Melinda, after escaping the Scotland Yard, who by the way were a pretty funny addition to the episode, she meets a man by the name of Darvish.
Oh, your order is troubled, my dear.
That's gotta be racist, there's no way.
Who promises to extract the spirit of Melinda out of her. Now of course he's a con artist who can't actually do magic, and the only reason that Emma would even consider doing this is because at this point, anything seems possible when you've been turned into a sorceress. Which is exactly why, because of her fear, she actually ends up being able to see and speak to Melinda.
This is bigger than you and me.
I don't want to be chosen. You're ruining my life.
You selfish child. Everything will be destroyed. It's my charge to defend life from the evil we face.
This scene is a game changer. Seeing the 2 parts of herself interact definitely added a whole other layer to the dynamic. The thing that stuck out to me was Melinda calling Emma selfish for not accepting the responsibility she's been given, and Emma seeming to not care at all, telling her to screw off and choose someone else. It's an argument where both sides can be right and wrong at the same time. This is the fate of the world we are talking about, and whether she wants to or not, she has a responsibility now, but she never asked for it. Her life has been
Turned upside down.
And at the end of the day, her mind and body are being invaded. It is pretty selfish of her not to see the bigger picture though, but anyone in her shoes would not have wanted to be where she is right now. The thing is, she has no choice. She can't fight a whole spirit that can take over her body, which is exactly what happens to her. She's forced to fight these possessed statues against her will. It's a theme which I hope they explore more in future episodes. Whether she warms up to her new side of herself, or whether she ends up self-destructing and putting others in danger.
There's something else here.
lady who I've heard people say is some sort of fox, as pretty much the final boss of the show, or season at least. She's the one who possesses these statues to attack the warriors, and if she does end up being the final boss, then I'm really looking forward to that confrontation. She seems like a very powerful antagonist. Once again, the fight scene was on point, and the animation was smooth as I've come to expect from the show now. The 1920s art style mixed with these explosive and compact action scenes is a match made in heaven. The pacing was slowed down from the first 2 episodes and felt a lot more controlled as well. I'll be covering the show every week as new episodes drop, so subscribe so you can keep up with these reviews. Overall, I'll give this episode 4 Not Dead Winstons out of 5.